There is one more important structure that we want to point out in the internal view of the brain. So we're going to cover that very briefly, and we encourage you to study this particular structure more carefully with some resources that we can make available to you, or you can find those resources on your own. The one structure that we wanted to point out, in addition to those others internal structures, is the pineal gland. The pineal gland. Here we have our region where we have the thalamus and the hypothalamus. Here we have our cerebellum. In this area right here, this is the pineal gland. And this pineal gland, if you look at your chart, and if I put a pin in it here, it would be like right about like that. The pineal gland. This pineal gland is super important. And if we look at this here, the pineal gland is a tiny endocrine gland in the middle of your brain that helps regulate your body's circadian rhythm by secreting a hormone known as melatonin. Now, the circadian rhythm, your circadian rhythm is your sleep-wake pattern over the course of a 24-hour day. It helps to control your daily schedule for sleep and wakefulness. Most living things have one. Circadian rhythm is influenced by light and dark, as well as other factors. Your brain receives signals based on your environment and activates certain hormones, alters your body temperature, and regulates your metabolism to keep you alert or draw you to sleep. It's interesting that in this first resource here, it says the pineal gland is the least understood gland of the endocrine system, and it was the last part of the endocrine system to be discovered. So your circadian rhythm can be visualized something like this: a 24-hour period during which certain things occur during certain times of the day during your 24-hour cycle. This may not be entirely correct or accurate, but it does give you some ideas as to what are some points of emphasis during your 24-hour circadian rhythm. There's the area where you have your deepest sleep, lowest body temperature, sharpest blood pressure rise. Melatonin secretion stops. It starts here in the evening around 9 o'clock roughly, is when that melatonin secretion starts to help you to go to sleep. And so there are other things that occur in a very rhythmic way, depending on darkness and light during the course of a day. And so that is your circadian rhythm. But that is the physical side of things. In your chart, you will see that there's another side to the pineal gland that is very interesting. If we look at this resource right here, it says the pineal gland was described as the seat of the soul by René Descartes. I don't know how to say that. And it's located in the center of the brain. The main function of the pineal gland is to receive information about the state of the light-dark cycle from the environment and convey this information to produce and secrete the hormone melatonin. One resource that I would encourage you to study is a book by student minister Ava Muhammad entitled Directing Your Will, Thoughts, and Words to Get Your Life in Order. In a certain part of her book, she talks about the pineal gland. We'll just read just a small portion of this and leave it to you to study further. Located here, there in the center of the brain, which we've identified on the internal structure of our brain, is the pineal gland, which the Caucasian people have said has no known function. As we read from that other resource, it was the last to be discovered, and it is the least understood structure inside the brain. But the pineal gland is known in the metaphysical world as the third eye because it is that gland in your brain in the upper regions right here in the center that enables you to make contact with the universal power of Allah. And the more that you pray and bow and submit to his will, the clearer this eye can see. And then I'll scroll down. I wanted to read just one more part from this book. Even though we can still witness his power in his creation, we could go beyond that and exercise his power. And when we open up that mind, that pineal gland through prayer, this is why the women in the Nation of Islam, we don't cover our foreheads. We don't wear bangs. We don't wear our hair down over our forehead because you don't want to cover up this pineal gland. You want this to receive light and not be closed off. So you don't want to cover this up. You want this always to be open so that when he is ready to reveal to you, you are on the line. And all praise is due to Allah. When we open up that mind, we actually find ourselves on another mental realm. It's like waking up in another place where all avenues of wisdom become open. And so I definitely encourage you to go into this book, as we are now complete with our study of the external structures and internal structures of the brain.